All right, designers and developers, we are back and we are going to be talking about margins. So margins, like when you're printing out a Word document, is the space from the very edge of whatever we are displaying to where our characters, our images, our text starts. So that's what we're going to actually be doing today, is creating those margins for some of these things. So let's get into our CSS, because this is where we're going to add our margins. And let's say that we want to move over all these paragraphs. We want them to be indented a little bit. So let's go into that CSS, and all those paragraphs right here, we are going to change the margin hyphen left. So our left margin, we are going to add this with pixels. So let's do 25 pixels to start and see if that was enough just to give us a little indent. So now when I go back to my index and I go to my browser, it moved it over just slightly. You can see before where it was aligned with our headers, that are those dashed ones, we have now changed our margin left over. So now let's go back into that CSS, and let's say we want to do the same thing on our right. We can go and we can do our margin right. And we can say that that one, we'll make that one 25 pixels as well. Then we can close that up. And when we go back into our index, we now have margins on both sides of them. So margins, that's that area in between where our website is actually being displayed from the edge bounds. So now let's go back into our CSS. And there's two more margin commands that are pretty obvious. We've got margin top, and let's set that to be a little bit more drastic. Let's do 50 pixels. And then we're going to do our margin bottom. And inside of here, we can also do 50 pixels. And now we've got margins on all of those. So we should have some larger spaces in between where we have all these. So yeah, we now have a 50-point margin all on our top and bottom, spacing it out away from those headings that we have up there. So our margins are a lot larger. There is one more margins trick that I'm going to show you in the H2. Remember, those are the ones with the white dash border over there. So in order to change all the margins at once, you can actually just say margins, and then we'll set all of that to 100 pixels. So this is a quick shortcut to change all of the margins at once if you wanted to. Oh, maybe it's just margin. It might not be margins. Let's try it out. So if we go over here, yeah, they now have 100 on every single one of them. So that is a shortcut to change all of them at the same time. And there's a step further that you can do with that. If you wanted to change all of these individually, but you just don't want to go through naming margin left, right, top, center, you can just go and say this next one, this one is 50 pixels. Then the one after that will be 200 pixels. And it usually goes, if I'm remembering correctly, it is starting top, right, bottom, left, I believe. But we will be able to see if we set these at all very distinct distances. So that's what I'm doing right here. Let's see if this will accept it, because I'm pretty sure this command is margins, but